Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to Hot Topics, the podcast, the show. This is Gloria Goldberg, the founder of the podcast Unbreakable Life with Glory, where I talk about depression, anxiety, PTSD in a holistic way, a natural way to always make you feel better. And tonight, next to me, my beautiful co host, Kia Baker.
That's right. And most of you know me by now. I'm Kia Baker. I'm the creator and host of the Female Veterans Podcast, the upcoming series Women Warrior Stories, and success coach at London Real Academy, where our fearless leader is running for mayor of London, an amazing city. So if you are there and you can vote, definitely vote for Brian. Brian Rose for mayor. Hi,
Hey,
Daniel. So, um, Moniaka,
yes.
you look very pretty tonight.
You look like you look pretty too. You're a princess. Now you are a princess.
Yes, someone who shall remain nameless calls me princess every single day. So now I am living it, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And you look very powerful.
Yeah.
Like you can stop crime and use a lasso to make people say the truth, and you
Right.
jump a lot, and like you have an invisible plane.
Exactly. And I can go around.
Yeah, and you spin, and then you go from like normal clothes into what you're wearing.
Exactly. And see, and I have my boots too. But I'm on it.
That's amazing. The boots just top notch, top notch. So obviously it is the end of October, and
Yes.
it is our very last show before Halloween. And
Right.
both of us are big fans of costumes and
Of
getting dressed
customs.
up and
Yes.
having fun. So here we are in our Halloween costumes. Spoiler alert for anyone who is going to see me on Halloween.
So so Kia, you are a princess. What is the name of the princess today?
Well, we're going to call her Boudica, because I've been researching a
Uh-huh.
warrior queen. Actually, she's a queen. She was Celtic, and she is called Boudica, and she fought against the Roman Empire. And so I love, as a female veteran, I'm a Navy vet, I love powerful women who, take charge and lead and strategize. And they're not just the kind of princesses and queens that just sit there and look pretty, right?
Right.
They get after it. And that's what I teach my students, and that's what I do.
And you are the princess that take care your the people that you like, that you love, that you want to help. So you take them. So it's like, okay, the princess have the palace to take all these babies.
That's right. They're all my babies. My students, that doesn't matter if they're older than me, like they're 65, 75 years old. Once you're in my group, you're one of my babies, and I'm going to take care of you and nurture you and look after you until your creation, your business, or your podcast is created and amazing.
I was the first baby for you to pop.
That's right. You're my first, and you have a lot of babies now. Oh my God, I just realized that I think I have well over 100 babies now, almost 200.
Wow, like a queen bee.
That's right, but I have a village. Hi,
Hey,
sweetheart. Yeah, happy Halloween almost. The veil is very thin.
right. Oh, like a hundred already. Wow.
Yeah, I have a lot of students that I've graduated from London Real Academy, and many of them are doing amazing things. And that's why I invite them here, because I
Right?
get so inspired by them that I'm like, the whole world needs to know what you're trying to do, because we're all at this really important phase where you can see it globally, a big change occurring. And
Yeah.
so there's so many of us that are inspired to do amazing things to help humanity and help our brothers and sisters. And so now you already know. Okay. You don't
Yeah,
even have
you
to
keep
ask.
popping, kids, babies.
I just have so many babies.
I
And I
don't know how
love
you
them
do
all.
it.
Mama does not choose favorites. Well, I only have one favorite, Gloria.
No, I can share your love with everybody.
Yes, I love all my babies. And I shout out to all my students. And you guys are amazing. I love you so much. So, mm-hmm.
So we have a very cool episode today.
Mm-hmm.
Our
Yeah.
guest is on a date. That's the cool
That's the
thing.
first. That's the first for sure.
And she said, "Yes, let's do it." And she had a date, so I'm so glad that she's here. So, who is
Yes,
she,
my girl.
Kia?
Okay, so speaking of my babies, she's not technically one of my babies, but she is my baby because her name is Baby.
Baby.
And you might remember her because she's been on the show a couple times before. So she's a friend of the show, and I just love her. I mean, she is got such a gentle, beautiful soul that you can't help but sort of adore her, right?
Yeah.
And so, what she does is she helps people heal through touch. So that's quite a gift. And she has an organization that she created called the Massage Clinic.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to learn more about that. But if you remember, she did a cool meditation with us before. And when the crisis, the pandemic started, she was doing these meditations. She still does them from time to time, but she was
Yes.
doing these meditations for everyone that was like such a gift and so like
Yeah.
twice a day just to give people relief and to give them a sense of connection while we were in lockdown. As you know, many countries around the world are going into another lockdown, the second lockdown.
I
And
know.
so bringing people like this onto the show is really important, so that you know that there are outlets or avenues for you to reach out to if you're in a situation where you want to meditate or you want to learn about inner healing, mental, emotional, physical. We bring on all these guests. So I would love to bring on Baby
Let,
and let's talk to her and see what she's up to.
let's talk to her.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Hi.
baby.
Can you hear me? Because I didn't bring my earphones, so there's a lot of outside noise. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, we can hear
Yes.
you.
Okay,
We can hear you.
awesome. I'm so excited to talk to you and share with some of the stuff that I've learned and really understood for my own self, but I really want to share with you guys.
Yes. Go ahead. We are
Okay,
waiting here.
so we do talk a lot about post PTSD, but did you know about CPTSD?
Yeah, yeah.
So there's chronic post-traumatic stress disorder, and it's very serious. Mostly it's with adolescents that have gone through severe trauma. And regardless of the type of trauma, people in the military, as well as anyone, you always think of PTSD as being military since it's so linked, but anybody goes through trauma. Everyone has gone through trauma. If you haven't gone through trauma, you're one of the fortunate ones. It's a very rare type, and you would have a secure attachment type. You'd be able to be in your own autonomy, stand on your own 2 feet, and understand that nothing outside you is about you. So that's rare, right? How do you not take things personal? When someone bumps you, you're like, wait, hang on, what did I do? What did I do? Because I have an anxious attachment type. Now, for people who are chronically put through threats, it could also be a parent that's constantly saying, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're the reason why I'm unhappy. In any forms like that, it causes you to be an adult and blame yourself first before realizing that that is a true narcissist that you're in a relationship with. Regardless if that relationship is a lover, a friend, a coworker, you were set up to fail, to be alongside a narcissist. Or you went in the path of the narcissist themselves, right? So you still go along the same road as an empath, someone who is, how does my how does my words, how does my actions affect another? That would be an empath, someone who's really looking outside. But a narcissist is someone who looks, forget you, you're the reason I'm unhappy. You're the reason that I have a headache. It's you. You're the reason. And that's a true narcissist. It's not an evil person. It's someone who's just deeply hurt, deeply insecure, and deeply afraid of being alone. You know, I got really excited. Are you still following me?
Yeah, we're all
Yeah.
ears.
Yes.
Okay. So I really understood that in order to really learn yourself and really understand other people is to really understand what is a narcissist and what is an empath. Not in a clinical way, but just for your own self. And then you could go into the DSM, which is the manual for all therapists. So you're familiar with PTSD, right?
Yes, but
How are you familiar with CPTSD?
I'm not that familiar with that one.
I am.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Who? Which one of us? We're like, who's going? You go first, Gloria.
So can you explain to people, because a lot of people hear about PTSD a lot, right? But the CPTSD, that's my first time I hear it. So
Yeah.
probably a lot of people it's the first time for them to hear it.
So trauma occurs in every situation, regardless if you've been raped, regardless if you've had a car accident. But mental trauma is when your mind shifts. You had a healthy mind, it was going one way, and then you just twisted it. When you have a connection with your mind, that's when you have more control. So understanding that if someone's gone through chronic, that means that they can actually have a mental illness. Now, I'm not a therapist and I'm not a psych therapist. I don't hold a PsyD degree. So I can't say what people have, but if you're intensely hypersensitive, if you're hypersensitive, more than likely you've gone through severe trauma. If things just rattle you, you've gone through severe trauma. You've had to have chronic stress in your life, whether it came from a parent, most likely a parent or parents. If you came from a narcissistic family, your mother would say, I want you to become a lawyer. It's not what you want to do, but I want you to become a lawyer so that you could then be my provider. She won't say it like that, but she'll say something like, this is mostly in the Asian family, but follow along in any storyline, but do this so that you can make me happy. And then you lose your identity. Or if you say something like, Mom, I made this for you, and she throws it away. I mean, these little things are actually huge in a 4-year-old. So the first 2 years of growth are the most transformative for the emotional maturity of a child. And then the first 7 years is the trajectory of what they would be in adulthood. Those are very traumatic. Those are very nurturing or catastrophic. And then if you can recall going into your teen years, it seems to be that is the staple of the route, whether or not you choose between a narcissistic path or an empathic path. Now, both sides have the same story. They just chose different routes. Both sides, whether or not they were a narcissist or they were an empath, they both went through trauma. Now, CPTSD is going to be chronic trauma, meaning every day you felt like you were in a war zone. Every day you had to risk your life. Every day you were psychologically abducted, physically abducted, mentally sabotaged. And that's chronic. So you will go through this inability to actually know who you are in adulthood. So in adulthood, you'll have two different people living inside you. One that knows exactly what they want, and the other one that's doubting every single thing you do.
Yes.
It's like many people.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But the chronic PTSD are the ones that are mentally disturbed. Now, it doesn't mean that they're crazy. It just means that they simply don't know who they are. And I will say that will happen in positions where, we will generalize it because mostly, I mean, there are women that are narcissists, absolutely, but the percentages do go towards men. And how can it not? We set up our men to succeed, right? Go for what you want. The most narcissistic people happen to be very successful, right? There are CEOs, there are politicians, there are our managers and supervisors, right? Do it this way. You're doing it wrong. They're the ones that are rude to the waiters. They're the ones that are rude to anybody that is in the service industry most of the time, because they will blame you for not getting my receipt to me quick enough. They'll blame you for not having my check. Did you not see that I was done eating? And the the empath will mostly say, did I do enough? Was I kind enough? Why did they do that? Could I have been any better? Maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe I didn't give them enough. So the narcissist will always think they didn't give enough. They didn't do enough. But what they're really saying is they didn't do it my way. And if they don't do it my way, then they're no good for me. I'm holding this water. This water right here is an object. As soon as I'm done with this water, I don't need it anymore. And that's the exact concept of a narcissist. A narcissist will say, okay, I love you. I'm so in love with you. I want a whole life with you. And as soon as you don't give them, let me backtrack a bit. As soon as you show your human side, as soon as you show that you have needs, as soon as you show that you need them, they'll say, oh, you're too emotional. So to understand the narcissist isn't to say that they're bad. It's to understand that they're deeply wounded. My God, let me tell you, it's the same side of the same coin. They just chose a different route. And a narcissist, I'm going to tell you, it's very difficult for them to change because it's working so well for them, right? They're getting exactly what they want. They just don't see how they're hurting people. It's not that they don't care, because normally you don't go towards a narcissist because they don't care. It's because in our culture today, we have rewarded them. We reward narcissist behavior. We look at them and say, well, those are strong attributes. And so in whatever relationship you have with a narcissist, normally they're rewarded. And so what do? We reward bad behavior. So there was a time when we would actually give credit towards people of science, people of academics, and name murals after them. Now we name murals and buildings after entertainers and people who donate the most money. So we sabotage ourselves by rewarding these narcissistic behaviors. So we celebrate them. So why would they even change? Until they actually say, what I do is hurting other people. So here's a big thing. Normally, an empath would say, I'm the toxic one. Everyone's leaving me. I'm toxic. I must be bad. Because when they were a child, they were labeled bad. They were labeled naughty. They were labeled, it's your fault. So you go into adulthood and your mind is just flipped. If they're bad to me, it must be because I did something. But there's actually assholes out there. Not assholes that who they are as an asshole, but their actions are severely damaged and they're wounded.
Well, hurt people, right?
That's very true. It's very true. And the narcissist is someone who will normally, in my practice of massage therapy, will say, you're not a good massage therapist. I get plenty of massages and you're not doing it right. Even though they've never taken one class, know nothing about the body. So a narcissist tends to say you're wrong without even being in the field. So even with like all the things that's going on right now with COVID and you won't put on a mask, it's like, it's okay. It's not that serious. And they dispute all the science. That's a narcissistic behavior. Now, I would like to say that we all have traits of narcissism and we all have traits of empath, right? That's why we fall in love with narcissists in the beginning because, oh, you're so kind, right? And then we
Mm-hmm.
have like this delusional belief, oh, wow, they really think I'm special. And normally that comes from a lack of self-identity, right? Because it's not that they think I'm special, it's that they're so lucky to be in my world right now that they get my attention. They're that lucky. That's not a narcissistic thing to believe. That's a truthful, self-abiding thing to understand to stand in your autonomy, to know how divine you are. The narcissistic part goes when you start blaming outside sources for your turbulent behavior. And to know this is powerful. It's very powerful. And then that's how you are able to control outcomes. I have gotten myself in positions that were harmful. And I stayed in those positions because I was deeply empathic. Now, let me tell you, I'm not saying I'm deeply empathic to glorify who I am, to say I'm such a Mother Teresa, to say that I'm so kind. It's a real troublesome place to be because I will put up with bullshit because I'm thinking, wait, maybe if I just try a little harder, maybe if I'm a little kinder, I shouldn't have cooked that for them. Did I not clean the toilet clean enough? I'm just making stuff up. There's no toilet I clean, but stay with me, all right? So I'm just
But if
like,
there was,
Yeah.
yeah. And
some of us have had to do it. Okay.
yeah,
Yes.
I do it.
Many
I
times.
just did it today. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm right there.
but to understand this is also to understand when you're in the position that you want to be in. And this is also why people don't choose the right career that they want to be in, is because they go in a career that they were told to go into
Yes.
because they don't know themselves. So instead of fitting yourself to the career, find the career that fits you. So if you're outgoing and bubbly, working in an isolated area is just not going to be fun. It's you're going to feel so drained. If you like to be with people and you're the bubbly people, the bubbly people, they like to be around other people. And so normally you would be in customer service, acts of service, you would be in those areas. So to know this, to know whether or not you fall more in tuned to a narcissistic route, which is how can I get more out of you, versus an empathic route, how can I give more to other, also fits your career route. Because the narcissist is like, how can I get more out of you? Meaning the finances are going to be very well for them. Most narcissists are financially abundant. Now, it doesn't mean that just because you're a narcissist, you can be abundant. There's some broke narcissists out there. There's broke narcissists.
Yeah.
Narcissism does not discriminate. It's worldwide. It falls in every economic social class. It falls in every racial group. It has nothing to do with your race. It's simply, there's a switch that clicked, and it's how do I preserve my own integrity?
Well, and there's more than one type of narcissist, right? So people are often really familiar with like the really obvious type.
Malignant narcissist.
Yes, the malignant type, where they're just all about themselves, and these are deeply wounded people. And how do you deal with them, Tendai? I
Right.
think that maybe would agree with me is that you can't. You have to get away from them. You can't help them. You can't help them.
And that's
Okay.
that's what the empath wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they need to be loved. I know how to love.
I'll just love the shit out of them until they
I'll
heal.
love them.
No,
But
it's
the
not
thing
gonna
is,
happen.
you can never give them enough.
Mm-mm. You're
Mm-mm.
So
supply.
I'm going to tell you,
for them.
when you're a child, normally you fall in these positions between an scapegoat. A scapegoat tends to become a, you know what, Ash, let me pause right there. I was about to say something wrong. So I'm just going to say there's a scapegoat, meaning when you were growing up, everything was blamed on you. Your life was blamed on you. Like I have no money because I have to spend it on your shoes, right? Like a
Yes.
scapegoat is I'm having such a headache because you didn't do your homework. Like, why isn't the house clean, right? So you're blamed for everything. I'm single because he couldn't stand you, something like that, right? And then you have the invisible kid. Now, the invisible kid doesn't know what the hell is going on, right? They're just like, well, I'm good. My grades are good. I'm getting into the right colleges. But no one really knows what's going on with their personal life. They just know things are going well. They don't know what's going on. You just don't notice them. Now, people tend to think that it goes in order, right? The invisible kid is going to be the middle child. It doesn't actually work that way. It just goes on, right? It's a pick and choose thing between the adults because it has to do with what am I triggered by the adult. So the parents are the child is a mirror to the parents of their triggers, of what they're
Right.
going to learn. And instead, they blame the child for triggering them when they're really triggered by the soul of this child. So you also have the golden child. Nothing goes by, right? They're just perfect, right? Everything about them, even if they, had a party, was doing coke in front of them, they're perfect, right?
Perfect. Yes.
Because what the parent sees is they're doing exactly what I want them to do. They're completely doing what I want them to do. And so then there's the golden child. The child that tends to be the scapegoat is the rebellious one. What do you mean I can't do art and live my life in foreign countries and eating bananas, right? No, you're going to be broke and homeless. That's terrible. And, you're already foretelling the future. It's normally much more intricate than that. But a scapegoat tends to be the person who grows up with sicknesses as they get older, whether or not they go into rehab when they get older, or they go into areas of prostitution, or by some miracle they don't, but they still have like some defeat in their world that they're really challenged by. So when you learn this and you really do a deep dive into yourself, you start understanding your own inner child, and you understand, look, whenever I feel a pull inside of me, I understand that is not me. Who I
Yes.
really am and my true decisions come from a very peaceful place. Now, you could call that place God. You could call that place your divinity. Whatever that you want to call it, it is your place of your true identity. We established a false self. The narcissist has a false self. The empath has a false self. So I'm going to tell you the empath's false self, okay? This is striking. They are givers from a false place. So here's the thing. This is the narcissistic side of the empath. The empath actually will manipulate by saying, if I give you enough, you won't leave me. If I give you enough, you'll be kind to me. If I give you enough, then you'll see me as enough. That's manipulative. As it is. It just is. And that's the narcissistic side, that I can actually change the way you look at me. So it's coming from a false place. So it also comes from a place where you actually think, you were so kind to me, so I need to do something for you. No, you don't. If someone's kind to you, you don't got to do shit for them. You don't got to do a damn thing. They were nice to you. Take that. You're good. And
Exactly.
this is where women get in trouble. Oh, he bought me a cookie. Now I got to have sex with him.
What?
Shit like that happens, okay? Shit like that happens, right? Like,
where are those women? We need to form a support group.
But they do that. And I'm going to say women in their 40s do that. Women in their 50s. It's not just those 20, 15-year-olds, right? Like, if you don't deal with your own false identity, you are going to be doomed to repeat the patterns. We continuously repeat patterns from our childhood into adulthood. We think that we've actually put our childish ways behind because we're nice and we're kind and we're polite. Weren't you nice, kind, and polite as a child? But you've actually repeated patterns when in your childhood. So by overly giving, because mom, and we're talking about the empath. So when you were like, oh, mom didn't like that, let me clean my room. Maybe she'll like me more if I clean my room. That child didn't want to clean their room, but I wanted to make mommy happy. I wanted mommy to love me, so I'm going to clean my room. So when you grow up older, you're just like, okay, he's mad at me, or he's mad if I just stay quiet and I don't talk. Or I cook the carrots. You guys know my carrot story. If I cook the carrots, but you just overly give, right? And it's coming from a false place. Now that my brain clicked when I found this out, I am standing in my truth of giving from a true place. I'm giving because this is actually in me to give to you, not because I want you to be happy. I'm not giving so you can be happy. Right? Hasn't that been what we do? This will make them happy. Let me buy this. This will make them happy. Let me say this. This will make them. Let me not say this. This will make them happy. So that's manipulative.
Totally.
I mean, it's the same thing in bed, right? To be honest with you. So, like, for example, you're with a guy, and I just took it there. I forgot. If you're 18, click off right now. If you're not 18, go. Okay, so like a lot of times women will work really hard to please a man in bed, for example. And if she pleases herself, okay, then the guy will enjoy himself.
The cooking the metaphor, homie.
We go all in on all topics. Okay.
What kind of cookies, right? What kind of cookies?
You want to know the brand? Homemade.
Got to be a very special cookie.
We'll talk offline. I'll tell you which cookie. But let me tell you the only kind of women that will go for that, okay? Let me tell you, the only kind of woman will go for that because I was that woman, so I get it, right? I see them because I was them, all right? You have a disconnection with yourself. And that means you've gone through trauma. You have. That's just it. You're not sick. You're mentally disturbed, but that's okay. We all are.
Right.
All are.
Right.
If you aren't disturbed, all right,
then you're not
rare and blessed and alone, all right? You can't stand any of us, all right? So you're a superhuman being if you have no trauma in your life. Because one of the severe traumas that we've done to one another in generations is to take our child away from their truth. And that is our superpower. Our mental ability to control our own mind, to understand our minds, is our superpower. We were born in with it, and it was taken away. Because our parents had it taken away, and their parents had it taken away. So there's no one to blame.
Exactly.
But now we got to go through a lifetime of bettering ourselves and for our offspring. Kia, you have 2 beautiful children. They're already in a better place than you were. And then so when they have children, their children are going to be in a better place than they were.
Right.
I tell them that all the time, you know.
So you've already done shit to them. You have, right?
Yeah. Without fail, we all do stuff to our kids. We try to do the best that we can with the knowledge that we have, but we make mistakes. And you know what I tell my kids all the time too? I say, when you have kids, be a better parent than I was, because believe me, I'm a better parent than I had.
Right.
Well, I like to stay away from being a better parent. I'm gonna hold truth to what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but it sounds like you just like depleted your worth. So I'm going to tell you, you are an amazing mom, right? So not a better parent, but a more conscious parent, a more conscious, a more present, a more wisdom.
Aware, yeah.
Aware, right? Wisdom is awareness. Awareness is consciousness, okay? So I'll just say that, not a better parent, because you are an amazing mom who loves her child.
I absolutely know that, but you know what I'm talking about. It's not, that's just vernacular. I'm talking about doing things in a way where they see that I've made mistakes and they felt that I should have done something differently, then they should do that differently for their children. To always continue to improve upon what your experience was. For example, as most of you know, I'm a child abuse survivor. Okay, I don't punch my kids. That is being a better parent than I had. Okay, so I tell them the same thing. I say, hey, where you feel like I haven't done my best work, then you improve upon that with your children, and we perpetuate this going forward, where we break those patterns, we break those cycles, and we keep things moving forward in a positive and conscious and aware direction. Speaking of my kids, you guys go on. Hold on. Yes, love.
So yeah, like
Look at her being a mommy right now.
yeah.
You know, my growth had to come from a place not solely for myself. I had to actually think, because if it was solely for myself, I wouldn't have grown. I just wouldn't have, because there would have been no reason. I went through all this work for my offspring. You guys know I want a baby. So I want a
Yes.
baby, and I want to be a conscious mom. I want to be a mom that doesn't project my lack, that projects my low self-esteem, project what I wish they would be, and understand who they are. And because of that, and I have you two beautiful mothers, because Gloria, your daughter is just stunning, all right? She's just a babe, all right? Inside and out. And that's because you see her autonomy. Kia, same thing. You have two handsome young men, and they stay in their autonomy. I would love to be that. So I want to be someone who is present, who understands a person is not mine, but just from me. That's it. They don't belong to me. They just come through me.
Yeah, it's
And
about guidance, not control.
mhm.
Yeah,
I love that.
I understand the part of control, because when my daughter was going through teenager times, I tried to control her because she was like out of control. And then somebody told me, you have to let it go and let her be. And the moment that I let her be and let it go, things was rough, but then things come better. But I knew that was her path that she needs to go through. So now I just respect her, the entire whatever she's doing or whatever she said. Whatever, I respect her. Even I probably don't agree in some stuff that she do, but that's what I can do.
Well, she's
I love
grown
that.
now, honey. Like,
Huh?
she's grown now.
Exactly. Exactly.
She's gonna do what she's gonna do, and you can just be there to support her. And when
Yes.
she makes mistakes, you are there, and when she does amazing things, you're there. And that's it. That's what it is. Especially
That's
when
it.
they're adults. For me, my son's a teenager, my oldest. So, and he's a new teenager. He's just 14. So it's tough. It's tough because he is really standing in his own power. And so even though when I see him make choices that I want him to make better choices, all I can do is try to guide him into what those choices would be, and then let him sink or swim, because you can't shield them and protect them from life. It ill-equips them. In my
That is the
opinion.
law. That's the law of the universe, cause and effect. So the fact that you understand that right there, that's how you just raised an empath, because he's going to understand cause and effect. So he understands another person's emotion. He understands that what I say and what I do affects another being. So I want to tell you, I think I'm at like 3% on my phone because I'm on a date. So I think I'm gonna just click out. But it was so nice talking to you guys. But I think my phone is gonna click out on you. So
Okay.
That's right.
Thank you for coming, honey. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you so much.
Have fun.
Have fun.
Eh.
I want details later.
Yeah, yes.
Oh,
One from the team. One from the team.
I think we lost her, honey.
Yeah.
We lost her. Oh, wow. That was a lot in a
It was.
short period of time.
Yeah.
But it was good. I love that she was talking about narcissists and empaths and chronic PTSD. I thought she was going to talk about complex PTSD, which is another form of PTSD when when you repeatedly suffer traumas, you have so many traumas over and over and over and over and over, that you're just re-traumatized, right? Same kind of
Mhm.
thing, slightly different. But and then that she talked about narcissists and empaths, because we are both empathic, we're both highly sensitive. I imagine a lot of the people that watch this are empathic people. They're probably drawn to our energy, and so have dealt with narcissists, whether they're men or women or parents or children or whatever, that you have to deal with that and overcome that type of relationship.
But thinking about everything what she says, I think here all of us we have a little bit of narcissism in us, but it's more when we are not aware. Because when we are not aware, we don't know what we're doing, and we come. In my case, I come with those patterns of narcissists. So maybe in my youngest age, and even in my adult time, I probably have a lot of things of narcissists, and also control is because I learned from an environment of control.
Hmm.
Now that I'm waking up and being more aware, I understand what it is to be narcissist, what it is to an impact. But I think we can be narcissists in some situations too.
Well, there's a spectrum, right? So you could be at the bottom of the narcissistic spectrum or the top, malignant, right? You can be a covert narcissist where you don't even expect this person to be a narcissist. They are so unassuming and they almost seem like they have no ego. They seem, because you think narcissist, oh, it's someone who's like in the mirror all the time. They just love themselves so much. They're high on them.
Right.
But it's not always true. You can have the most unassuming person, like so no ego, so seems so humble, but they're also a narcissist. And so they feed off of your energy of lifting them up. So that's another trap for an empath, because we want to help people. We want to give like love and support and nurturing, especially someone who has a lot of children like me, all my babies. I'm an easy target, or I have been in the past, I should say, for a narcissistic personality, because I'm a giver. But it's like she said, once you start to understand these concepts and you learn, and it usually takes one good experience with one to really like take you through the ringer. If it doesn't completely destroy you, you're lucky. And if you get away like mostly intact, you're very lucky. If you deal with a true narcissist, if you deal with a true narcissist, it is can be a life-shattering experience, and you have to rebuild your whole life from the ground up. It can be very, very severe. But if you deal with someone just on the spectrum of narcissism, then you walk away. The best thing you can do is for yourself is to walk away, because they can discard you. So they will use you up and then discard you. And then that's even more mentally traumatic, because you're like, I gave and gave and gave and it was never good enough, and then they left me,
Right.
right? And then they'll discard you for another person who's a greater supply or fulfills that need even more, right? So the best thing you can do is, I know Tendai asked this earlier, I think he had to go,
Yes.
but the best thing you can do when dealing with a narcissist, and when you begin to suspect that they're a narcissist, do your research. There's a lot of useful tools on YouTube and through reading on the internet. And I think there are whole channels on YouTube devoted to, I think one is called Lisa. I think her name's Lisa Romano. She does a lot of videos on dealing with narcissists, and you can. There's resources out there to help you, because I mean, they will destroy you. They will destroy your finances. They will destroy your life. They will destroy your mind when you see your friends that you haven't seen in a while because you're so consumed with trying to deal with this narcissist. They won't even recognize you anymore. They're like, you're like a shell of yourself, because you're so impacted by and destroyed by this person.
So how many type of narcissists exist?
Oh, I mean, well, there's two main types. Okay. But like I said, there's a spectrum, and we all
Right.
have narcissistic tendencies. I think that's more ego, right? Not
Okay.
as much
Yeah.
narcissism as it is ego. So, and you know that your ego can make you feel self-inflated, or it can make you feel like you're not good enough, right? And so once I think you first, if you're looking at yourself like, am I a narcissist? Then if you're asking, you're probably not, because a narcissist wouldn't even ask that question. But you can tell by, it could be just your ego, and if you can withdraw your ego out of the situation and see how you respond to things and how you operate, then you will know. But it's a very difficult thing, and of course empaths attract narcissists very easily.
Yes.
Hmm. And it's a destructive relationship. You cannot save, if there's an empath out there in a relationship and you're starting to think that the person you're with, male or female, it doesn't matter, male or male, female or female, doesn't matter. If you suspect that you might be in a relationship with a narcissist, I'm sorry to tell you, honey, that the only thing that you can do is leave. You have to cut all contact, all contact, and you cannot go back. Because if you
Because the narcissist, what they do is manipulate the whole entire time.
they guess, like they have tactics, it's very manipulative on multiple levels. So if you're a very sensitive hearted person, you can get caught in this trap and you get gaslit. Everything's your fault. Nothing's ever good enough. They make you feel like you're the one who's doing detriment to them. You know what I mean? They make you
Mm-hmm.
question your own thoughts, your own mind. Everything's, like she said, scapegoating is really common. Gaslighting is, they make you crazy. So, for example, if you were a narcissist, right, and we got into an argument, okay, and I will say you said something that I thought was like really hurtful, and I would say to you, hey, that hurt my feelings, that was kind of a rude thing to say. They would say something like, why are you so sensitive? Like, why are you always causing problems? Why are you always stirring up drama? Everything was fine until you had to say something. See, you see how it just turns around on you, and you're like, wait. And then they go so far with it that you start to go, well, did I stir up drama?
Right.
And you start to like let it get in, and start to
Yes.
think, oh my God, did I do that? Am I, or if they're like, if you suspect them of something, you're crazy. You're crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
You're crazy. You're insane. That's crazy. And then they start to try to make you think that you're crazy. But when you try to speak up, and a lot of conditioning goes on as well. So it's like almost like they train you like you would train an animal. So they train behaviors in you too. So it's just very, very complex. And I would say, if you suspect that you're in a relationship with one, then do research and find out for sure, and then find out how to get out of that relationship.
So baby said the narcissists come from what kind of traumas in the childhood
All
mostly?
kinds, deep inner childhood wounding from the time they were very little to teen years. They're very wounded. It's actually, to me, it's really, really sad. It's really
Yes.
sad because a lot of times they present themselves as like really wonderful people because they have really wonderful qualities, but they're so damaged that they just manipulate, and they just use and take until there's nothing left of you, till you're dust, till you're destroyed. And it's because they're so wounded. You've been there. Oh honey, I'm sorry, that's
Oh,
terrible. Yeah, girl.
yeah.
And it's terrible. It's a terrible relationship to be in. It's terrible. It's very abusive. And it's because they're so wounded, and an empath really just wants to help them because you can see their wounding. You're like, oh my God, let me help this person. But you can't. And
But
it's
what kind of wounded was that? Why? How the parents needs to be with that kid to be a narcissist later on?
Oh, it could be anything. It could be anything. I mean, it's so hard to say because all of our psyches are so different. So you don't know what wound is gonna you can't really identify the exact wound. That, like, I can't say, oh, because my parents split up when I was 3. that for someone else, that could be something that triggers them into, you know what I mean? So,
And you know what? I was also talking to my daughter today for like a long time, and I said to her, be careful with your trauma now that you're young to carry for so long. Don't carry traumas for so long.
oh God,
And, and,
yes.
and I understand that you're young and I understand everything, but you should let it go. And then I said to her, if you not let it go now, there's some traumas that happens before. It will show up later on when you getting older. So a lot of people don't understand. There's some traumas that are in the childhood. They will show in an adult time, like even when you're older. And if you don't catch it early, I said to my daughter today, I wish I met Julian 20 years before, because I will not be carrying for so many years the wound and all the traumas that I carry for many, many years.
Girl, you know I love Julian, and you're right. I 1,000% agree with you.
My
If I
God.
had met Julian in my 20s, he was actually talking to me today about a student he has that's in her 20s, and I was thinking, oh my God, she's so lucky. She's so lucky
Yes.
because he'll be able to help her get through a lot of things. Because sometimes it takes a lifetime to work through some of these traumas, you know? Aw, did they win? Well, Texas football is not a joke in Texas. Okay, so we know that. So we hope you won.
Yes. I don't know nothing about that, but I hope you won.
I do like football. I mean, in boarding school, so Amy, she popped on here. She was like one of my best friends in middle school, actually. And parenting is tough. That's right. We do. Yes. Yes, Amy. So she was one of my best friends in middle school. Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That goes long. Long time.
Yeah. And so we were in private school together. And so in private school, we had to play lots of sports. We were forced to, not that I wanted to, but we were forced to learn all sorts of sports. So I'm very well educated in a lot of different athletics, but I like to go see them live. I love tickets to live sporting events. I don't like to play, but I do like to watch football on occasion and baseball.
I watched him, but I don't understand too much. Well, I don't pay attention to that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's right. I went to her grandma's house for Thanksgiving, and because of your grandma, I love squash to this day. Always like, and tell your mom I said hi. Yeah, I hope she's well. Yeah, you enjoyed it too. We did. We were forced to do those. We didn't want to do those sports. Some people were good at it, but I was scared, honey. I did not want to do those sports. Although lacrosse I did like. So we did learn how to play a lot of sports, but we got well-rounded at that place. Shout out to Milton Hershey School anyway. And shout out to my girl for showing up and and making some comments. We appreciate you, Amy. Thank you. And so yeah, but that narcissistic stuff, girl, I'm telling you, it is not a joke. And men, they go through it too. So don't think that we're just talking to women. No, honeys, no. No, honeys, no.
We're talking about human.
That's right. Like Baby said, it doesn't matter race, color, creed, religion, nothing. A narcissist exists. It's a wounded person, and they're so badly damaged. They're damaged beyond repair. The only person that can help a narcissist is the narcissist. And typically, they don't even help themselves until they get old. And if then.
I was watching today a video. I don't know why it came into my feeds, and there was a serial killer. They killed like 11 women, and the psychologist went to ask why. They do a lot of study in his brain why he was wounded when he was very like a baby, like 2-3 years old. His mother like oral sex, they like harass him, they like they do all kind of things to that kid. So that man grow up like a hating woman,
Mm-hmm.
and the way the mother did many stuff, they stuck things in through their anus to the
Oh,
kid.
oh,
They do horrible things to him, horrible things to
I'm gonna
him.
cry.
So in court they want to let him go because of the trauma that he had in his childhood. But the court say no. 11 lives, it cannot go just like that. So they was doing the study of a person who's very wounded and hurt in their childhood through going through a lot of rape, to a lot of abuse, violent, all that kind of stuff. and
Yeah.
and, and that's terrible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, it does it. So you never know how that kind of inner child wounding is going to manifest itself later, right? Anyone. So Muhammad says, anyone show me boobs,
Booster. Well,
boobs.
we
I'm
don't know what is boobs. We don't know that.
okay, Muhammad. We're not going to show you boobs here. You're on the wrong show, honey. Okay. And
Yes.
even if we did show you boobs, Facebook would shut us down. All right.
Yes.
So if you want to go see boobs, do what other men do and watch porn. This is not porn. Okay.
Exactly. Read YouTube. You can have your sexting for free.
Mm-hmm. Oh, go log on to OnlyFans. If you want to see boobs, go to OnlyFans. I
There's
got
a lot of
something for
boobs
you.
there.
I recommend Moon Mason. She's one of my students. She's incredible. Go check her out on OnlyFans. You can find her also on Instagram. She's intelligent, she's beautiful, and she believes that the human body is a beautiful thing, and it is. And she loves to show hers. So go there. Go on. Go there.
Yeah. Go, go, go.
Go down.
She had better, and she's younger.
They might be smaller than mine, but they are very lovely. Go look at them on Instagram. Moon Mason. Go check it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go.
Go. So, anyway, what'd you say, girl? Most are in denial and don't. Yeah, they don't know. They don't know. That's also a really sad part about narcissists too, is that they really don't have any concept of what they are doing is wrong.
Exactly.
They're almost like they're as shocked as you. They believe because they're like the ultimate gaslighting is their own self.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and if you're a child of a narcissist, that's like the saddest thing. Like that's the saddest thing because you can't. So then you're predisposed to connect with narcissists because you learn how to love. As a child, you have to love the narcissist because it's your parent, right? Until you get older and you make your own choices. But so you're already predisposed to know how to love someone who's mistreating you.
Yes.
Child
Yes.
abuse survivors are often the same way. So it's hard.
Yeah.
So then you get to be an adult. And if you don't heal that trauma, you continue to date people that hurt you and love them anyway.
I always gonna say I'm never gonna finish saying or stop saying that the future are our kids. Those kids needs to be taking care of it. We cannot harm our kids. We cannot have violence towards our kids. We need to talk to our kids in a loving kind. We need to understand them. We cannot they're our kids, but we don't own them. We came them to teach them good things for the future. Not the old stuff, the old bad stuff that they come from generation and generations. And it bothers me when I see people not paying attention to the kids, and the kids are very important.
Kids are very important. I love my kids, man.
Of course, man.
And I just want for them to be healthy and happy and good human beings and go out into the world and give and receive love and be able to, take care of themselves and live the life that they want, whether that means that they become millionaires or they live a very humble life on the path of enlightenment or whatever it is that they want to do that makes their soul feel happy.
Happy.
That is what I want for my children,
Me too.
So, and I
For
think
my
most parents
children
feel
and
like
all
that.
the children's. Huh?
Yeah, for all. I said most. I think most parents feel like that. You know, aside of parents that have their own traumas and they are unresolved, and then they perpetuate that in their children, right? And I even think they like my mother had her own traumas, right?
Of
My
course.
stepfather had his own traumas that they were unresolved. So I don't even blame them. Like, I don't even fault them,
You
you know.
can't.
And I actually happen to know that there are no bad experiences. And yes, it felt sucky growing up in it, but it refined me. It made me the person that I am today. It gave me a heart of compassion and a heart full of love to help people, to help the less fortunate, to want to serve others, from serving in the military to serving people now through London Real Academy, helping them bring their dreams to life. It just it is part of who I am, and it came from that, coming from that environment. So, I mean, once we know better, we do better. And as the science changes and the psychology changes on how to raise children and how to do it in an aware and enlightened way, I think we will see those changes. And our kids
Yes.
grow up and they have kids. And so you see, even now, like it, you know, again, I'm going to bring up boarding school because Amy is watching. When I was
We are in 1 hour, so you know.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up in a minute. When I was first got there, we had these house parents, and everything was family style. We lived in a house, and my first set of house parents were really really old. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they were like relics from the 30s, and the
Mm-hmm.
way their idea of parenting was so completely different, and the way they acted. So if you look historically speaking, like, men didn't show love, men were supposed to be this way, women were supposed to tend to the house, and how the times have changed, right? And
Yes.
so have we seen how parenting changes, right? Because there was a
Yes.
time where, you know, maybe punching your kid was socially acceptable, you know, or, you know, even now people do believe in spanking. I'm not judging, it's your business.
Right.
But we have, once we know better, we do better. When we know, okay, yes, you should, you know, allow your male children to have emotions, right? Like,
Right.
don't teach men that they can't show their feelings.
Right.
We're learning, as we learn these things, we evolve our parenting, and that helps the future generations to become better, and hopefully will minimize the amount of narcissism we see in the world, right?
Exactly. So we have 1 hour and 2 minutes.
Well, then let's wrap it up. I think we did a really good job of finishing the show without our guest.
Yeah.
So this was really fun. We are gonna go. We're gonna have a great Halloween weekend. And before we do, what are your plans for Halloween? I didn't ask you.
I don't celebrate Halloween. I just like
What?
to yeah,
You got that costume.
I just like to dress up all the time.
I always say your husband is a lucky man. You just got costumes.
I just get costumes.
All right. Well, I'm not mad at that. I do have quite a collection of costumes. I played a prank on my son. I said I told him I was going to go on TikTok and do ASMR, which is like whispering, and I was going to dress up in costumes and pet our bunny rabbit and like whisper softly to the rabbit, and his face was like so red, and he was like, "Oh my god, mom." And he was playing with his friend on the Xbox when I was telling him that, and his friend told him to told him to tell me to call it MILF ASMR. And I was like, what? Your friend hasn't even seen me. And is that even true? So that's my funny story. But yes, for Halloween, I
Yeah.
am having a COVID safe. I am having 3 people that I've been quarantining with off and on. We
Yeah,
together, then we quarantine. Everyone is fine. We, you know, so we do this like little thing, and it's going to be like 6 of us. See, the max 6 of us. And where I live, we can trick or treat. So it's going to be COVID safe trick or treating, neighborhood only. So since my neighborhood is allowed to do it, they're going to come and we're going to COVID safe trick or treat and have some like treats and a potluck at my house. So this is my costume. So
Beautiful. I love
if you
it.
were watching, then I spoiled the surprise. But I love Halloween. I always dress up. So
I
yeah.
love to dress up too, but I don't celebrate Halloween. But I love, love, love to dress up. For me, I would dress up like once a month.
I believe you.
I will put my boots, honey. Let's do it. I'm ready.
I say again, your husband is a lucky man.
I don't know that.
We shall ask him.
Yeah. Oh my God. I would be, oh.
I won't ask him live.
We pre-recorded in case.
Yeah. So,
All right, let's wrap it up.
yes, that's right. So thank you guys for tuning in. We really appreciate your time and spending an hour of your life with us, especially like every week, twice a week, whether you come live or you check us out in the replay, as most of you do, it seems like. So again, if you want a shout out from us, make sure you put hashtag replay and a comment on whatever video of ours you watch. Set your notifications so you know when we come live. And if you're watching on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. It's like giving us a tip. So if you're feeling the episode, anything about us, what we're wearing, what we had to say, our energy, like,
Right.
share, subscribe, and
Right.
tune in next Wednesday. We'll be back with another great guest. And I'm Kia Baker. You might know that by now. And I am the host of the Female Veterans Podcast, Women Warrior Stories, and Success Coach at London Real Academy. I love you guys. And I am joined by Wonder Woman.
Well, my name is Gloria Goldberg, the founder of the podcast Unbreakable Life with Glory, where I talk about depression, anxiety, PTSD in a holistic way and natural way to always make you feel better. And tomorrow is the bilingual show, The Gloria. I'm going to have Astrid, and we're going to talk about, we don't know yet, but we're going to talk about something en español. I think we will talk about the energy that is moving right now so fast around the world. So for people en español, vamos a hablar mañana de la energía que se está moviendo en el planeta en este momento, que es muy fuerte. So tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, the bilingual show de Gloria en español tomorrow.
Yay! All right, honey.
All right.
Have a great show tomorrow.
Yes, thank you, and have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful night. And I'm gonna do like the Wonder Woman. I cannot do it because of this.
Oh, I will do this.
Right, like this.
You are. Oh, you can't see that. I just realized you can't.
Right.
You can't even see. Goodbye. Good night.
I would say goodbye. Bye, guys.